Talking Music with Big Andy. In this week's show, HAVA, Talking Music with me, Big Andy. Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm Big Andy, as you know, and I have with me two guys from band HAVA. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, no, it's good to have you on here. Now, I'm in a strange position here. Normally, I do a lot of research, as much research as I can possibly do on a band before I interview them. I did as much research as I could possibly do on you.
Yeah.
And apart from the fact that you have music on Bandcamp and you come from Bristol, I know nothing about you.
Yeah, we're a bit of a mystery at the moment.
There's not really a lot on social media or anywhere else about you or how you came to be or anything like that. So what's the story? How did the band come about?
Well, I suppose it started, I think, sometime in late 2017. Me and Mark just started jamming together and tried recording a few demos of some songs I'd written. It sort of just grew from there, really. And I think it was earlier last year was when we started releasing stuff on Instagram. And yeah, it's just sort of gone from there, really.
Right, cool. So, I mean, you two have known each other for quite a while, have you?
Oh, yeah.
We've met in I think first year of secondary school. So
Yeah,
I
like
think
12 years, I think.
yeah, almost coming up. I think we started playing music more like the later part of secondary school, and then from then, what Keelan said, we just started jamming together just I think recently, and then yeah, we just started a band and started Instagram, and yeah, that's probably why you can't hear from us, because we're just so new. Like nothing's pretty much happened. So
No.
Well, I mean, I saw on Bandcamp you've got a single and an album from 2020.
Yeah.
Single, let's see, Second Guessing, which has also got another track on it called Late Night Swim.
Yeah.
Which I really like those, to be honest.
Oh, thank you.
oh, thank you.
And then the album, which is Silent Places.
Yeah.
Now, how would you describe the music you play?
I think I'm not too sure, because I think for me, I like to put a lot of different elements and genres into every song that we do. We do have quite similar influences, so we're normally coming from the same place when we're writing. But I think I'd mostly say kind of psychedelic, alternative kind of music, whether that's sort of coming from a more R&B kind of place, or like psychedelic kind of rock kind of place.
Right. So what influences do you have then? What bands or people music influenced you?
For me, I'd say mostly stuff like Pink Floyd, Tame Impala, sort of more kind of psychedelic, atmospheric, sort of experimental music.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that's the same as well. I think Tame Impala is the main one for us, because we've been through like a really big streak of just listening to Tame Impala, and that's just really influenced our production styles. It's the point where we kind of just have the same like sort of production kits just to emulate like their sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So when you like hear both our, well, I say both our tracks, the same tracks, because we work sort of away from each other. So we send tracks and pretty much we just can't tell the difference between what we've like done, because we're just so similar. So
it's interesting because it's really quite weird. The stuff on Bandcamp especially, it's kind of there's a kind of odd mix of some of it sounds quite sort of 80s sort of style synth stuff, but some of it is definitely far removed from that. I'm thinking mainly the first track on the album, which is called The Forgotten Children of the Mad King of the Forest.
Yeah.
It's quite a long track, but it has about 4 or 5 definite different parts to it.
Yeah.
And each one of those sounds completely different from each other. And it's I think with having a slightly 80s sound and having that kind of mix of sounds and styles in it, it's very difficult to get away from comparing it to people like Jean-Michel Jarre and people like that.
Yeah.
But it is nothing like Jean-Michel Jarre. It's really not. But I mean, that's a very interesting track. How did you come to put that together with all the different elements in it?
Mostly just boredom, really, and just having a lot of spare time to just kind of fiddle around with synths and kind of just mash away on the keyboard and press lots of buttons. All sort of just kind of fell into place, just kind of naturally, just from sort of fiddling around with stuff. I think I was quite influenced by Pink Floyd with wanting to do quite a progressive kind of long track. I think it's like 18 minutes long, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of just do a really experimental kind of soundscape and just see if I could manage something like that and just see where it went.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like it, and it is kind of it's slightly, as I say, it's slightly odd because it does have these elements of kind of like Pink Floyd and bands like that. There's very dark pieces to it. But it also has elements of kind of 80s kind of synth pop sort of stuff, which is kind of, and it's a really interesting mix of stuff. The band haven't got any videos for their music at the moment, so we're using some that were made for us especially for this show by Thrave Productions. So here's the first one. Have you managed to do any live performances or anything? Or
no, nothing live. We did do a bit of rehearsing for playing live. I think maybe a year or two ago, but that didn't really lead anywhere. But it was nice to kind of get into a room where me and Mark could kind of play together. We had someone who we'd met on drums, but I don't think they were really interested in playing live. But hopefully one day, that once kind of venues are a bit more open and there's a lot more opportunities to play live, I think we both really like to kind of get out there and start playing live.
It's interesting. I think that the thing about it is it's finding venues that are open to putting on the type of music you do, because it's not exactly, you know, the common or garden run of the mill sort of pop rock band that play most venues. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So you sent me some tracks to put on the podcast, but they're different ones to the ones that were on Bandcamp. So are they things that you've been recording and you haven't actually released yet, or?
Yeah, that's stuff we've been working on for the past year, I think. That's I think the things I've sent you probably represent us a bit more than the album that's currently on Bandcamp, because that stuff was just kind of messing around with synths, kind of just having a bit of fun with it, really. But this stuff that we're currently working on, I think, represents a lot more what the kind of music we want to do and release at the moment.
Okay, no, it's good. I mean, I must admit, the 3 tracks you sent me, I thought all of them were really good.
Oh,
Thank you.
Really good. Who does the vocals? Who does the singing?
That's Keelan.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. No, I mean, I just want to get an idea of who does what. That's all.
Okay.
But it's an interesting, as I say, again, even with those tracks, it's an interesting mix of sounds, if you like, because they've got this this 80s kind of vibe to some of it, but it's also got that underlying kind of psychedelic progressive sort of stuff as well. Is that an intentional sound of where you want to take the music, or is it just something that happens to have come about because of the sounds you'd like to get out of the synths?
I think most of the time it is. I think most of the time it's mostly sort of on purpose. But I think when we're trying to like sort of expand our knowledge or like expand our horizons, I think that sort of, you know, like likeness of just psychedelics just kind of seeps into like maybe the drums or something. But sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. And I think you can kind of hear it in some of the tracks where we do have like a hint of psychedelics, whether it's on purpose or not.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool. Here's the second track with visuals put together by Thrave Productions. I must say, I mean, I don't know a lot about the Bristol music scene, but are you representative of anything that goes on in Bristol?
No.
No.
We're just kind of doing our own thing, just trying to, release what we like rather than what is
Yeah.
popular in Bristol or whatever the Bristol scene is doing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it must be difficult to get a build up a following if you're doing something that's different from what else is going on around you. I mean, how has that
true.
been? How have you found doing that? How have you?
Well, I think one of the good things about the Bristol music scene is that it is quite diverse. There's a lot of stuff, kind of in more of like in the kind of clubs where people DJ. That's more sort of like I think like drum and bass and kind of jungle sort of stuff. But the more sort of bar kind of places that have people playing live, that's more. I think a lot of it is quite like punk and alternative, like psychedelic rock. There's like a lot of different music going on in Bristol, especially like in the live scene and stuff like that. So I think I'm sort of hoping we can kind of sliver our way in somewhere and find our place. But,
sneak in without anyone noticing.
Yeah,
that's the one.
I think it's been going all right. We've managed to get a sort of following, quite a few followers on Instagram, which was a bit more than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting too many people to sort of take an interest. So it's been quite nice to see a bit of support from people.
Well, I mean, there is a kind of growing interest in this kind of electronic sort of music again. It seems to have built up again. I don't quite know why. Plus, I mean, you got the double-edged thing, which is the fact that does seem to be a resurgence to interest in the kind of 80s sound. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. There were a few tracks I listened to reminded me of some of the Giorgio Moroder stuff
Okay.
from the 80s, which is very kind of it's that kind of multi-layered sort of like with strings and stuff and keyboards.
Yeah.
That kind of thing that works really well. So I mean, where do you want to take this? Ultimately, I mean, you're going to want to be out there doing festivals and putting out albums and stuff.
Yeah, definitely try and get as far as we can take it. So obviously watching people kind of that influence us, so like Tame Impala, seeing kind of how far they've gone and what they're currently doing, that's definitely somewhere we'd want to end up in the future.
Yeah. But
I guess for the moment, we're just sort of just seeing where it goes. We're not trying too hard to kind of prioritize the music. It's just sort of just making the music at the moment, making demos, just seeing what we can write, and if people are interested in it, then just hopefully it kind of takes off from there.
Okay. So, I mean, have you had any interest? I mean, you've got stuff on Bandcamp, you've got the thing on Instagram with which has got music and video clips on it and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Have you had any interest at all from anywhere else, like radio play or anything like that?
I haven't had anyone contact me on Instagram.
Me neither as well.
Yeah. But we definitely be open to something like BBC contacting us and playing our song on the radio, or even like a local Bristol radio station.
Right.
If we can manage to get them to play something, we'd be happy with that.
Okay. I mean, not trying to tell you what to do or anything, but I think you may need to up your profile a little bit on the social media front. People can find out a bit more about who you are and what you do. Because it was a little bit odd, because I had to make sure I put in the name of the band. I had to put in HAVA, and put in UK, because there's a German band with the same name apparently.
Oh, really?
Oh, right.
But
hey, that happens all the time. You get loads of bands with the same names.
Yeah.
It's not a problem until one of you makes it big.
Or both of us make it big at the same time.
Yeah, well, if one of you makes it big earlier, then you can sue the other one, so that's all right.
Yeah,
true.
That's a good idea.
So the stuff you've been recording this year, are you planning on putting that out as an album on Bandcamp, or putting it up anywhere for people to hear?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's mostly finished. I think we've both done some mixing on it. Most of the recordings done, I think. Just mostly just vocals. It's just hard trying to find somewhere to get the vocals done, as it's not sounding too good in my kitchen at the moment doing vocals. Not the best acoustic environment. So I think probably the next step is just either finding like a proper singer and getting that done in a studio somewhere, or just recording some demo vocals and kind of just putting it out there, just to at least kind of get out in some sort of form.
Yeah.
So do you write the lyrics yourself?
Yeah, there's sort of at the moment they're more kind of just off the top of my head. Whatever just comes to me when I'm writing the melody, I just kind of stick with it. And then I think when it comes to doing it a bit more professionally, I'll probably try and sit down and write some proper kind of cohesive lyrics that make a bit more sense.
So, I mean, how do you split the songwriting between you? Do you write together, or do you know? Obviously, I mean, do you know what I mean? Do you both write parts of it, or is it one particular person comes up with one part with the melody and you just kind of work around that?
It's a bit of both. So I think we're equally part and part, like start the songs. So I think if Keenan has an idea of a song, he'll like start up. He'll try to get like fleshed out ideas on it. And if he can't find out anything else about it, or if it's like not mixed properly, he would send it to me. Then I'll kind of like do mixing on that. And then I sort of inspires him to do more stuff on that. And then vice versa with me. If I am stuck on ideas, I'll give it to him and I'll just try to do whatever he can and just send it back to me, and then I mix it as well. And that's been going on for like most of what quarantine was. It's just sending like ideas and mixes together.
Yeah, because we couldn't meet up in person and record, so most of it was just sending things back and forth. I think a lot of the time, because we couldn't really work kind of consistently because of lockdown, a lot of the time we develop our ideas quite a lot and then kind of be like, oh, can you finish this off, because I can't really do much on it anymore, can't think of anything. But before that, we were working together like quite a lot in person, going over, like Mark would come over mine, we record together like a lot. But just lockdown has kind of made that a lot harder.
Yeah.
So we're just sending stuff back and forth really for this album.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I was also wondering about videos. Are you planning on doing any properly like produced videos for tracks and putting them up maybe on YouTube or wherever?
Not proper music videos, but I have been in contact with some channels that make sort of royalty-free kind of visuals and stuff, and they've like given me permission to use some of their footage for a lot of my songs on Instagram. I have been trying to kind of record myself a little bit more playing stuff, just to kind of mix things up a bit, but it's still along that line of I can't really record Mark doing his things because we can't be in the same room a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit awkward with that kind of stuff. But I think I would like to get someone to do some proper visuals for our stuff. I think I'd prefer a sort of a visual sort of thing rather than like a music video with people sort of acting and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that, you know, with the type of music you do, it lends itself much more to a visual representation of something, a kind of abstract visual thing, rather than a kind of like story type video. I get that completely. I just wondered if you had any plans for anything, or whether it was just kind of like that's a future hope that you want. You want to get.
That's like a future hope.
For us. A future thing.
Okay, that's cool. It's cool. I mean, it's not something you have to do, and there are plenty of bands out there that don't do videos at all. But you know, these days it's one of those things that kind of sells the music a bit. But there are plenty of people who just put up they put up a whole album in track form on YouTube with just the front cover of the album as the visual thing. So you know, it gets your music out there a bit further round. Here's our last piece of music with, again, a special video made by Thrave Productions.
If I keep on keeping on, well, you know I'm still alone.
So I'm assuming that at some point, you know, you want to get out there and do gigs and that kind of thing. Would you be looking to do festivals? Because I think your music would lend itself quite well to festivals.
Yeah, I agree. I think with festivals you get quite a diverse kind of a crowd. It's not the people that aren't really looking for one thing in particular. They can get a lot of different things from all the different artists there. So they're maybe not so much more open-minded, but they're definitely there to kind of get more of a variety of what's on offer. So I think we'd probably have more luck and a bit more interest at festival. Yeah,
the key word for that.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. I was going to ask you. Something just popped into my head then, and it's gone completely out the other side. Useless. I need to write things down more.
That's a fucking problem with me as well. I just lose it the minute I can't write it down.
Right. Do you have any plan of what you want to do with music, or is it just to sort of like see how it goes?
I think it's a see how it goes for me. I think we both have two different sort of ideas with what we want to do. I think, well, for me personally, I want to see how far this goes. And if we do get lucky enough, then of course I would, you know, advance this career into like a more like professional career. I'm just in live performances, you know, getting record deals and everything. But for me right now, it's just making really good music, or like music that I'm proud of, and sharing it with whoever wants to listen to it. And if it does get lucky, then yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'd say I'm in the same boat really. As much as I want to kind of put everything into it and try and get as far as possible, at the moment I think just need to think about kind of working and kind of earning money. It's just as important as kind of following your dreams and stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's especially with the way things have gone the last couple of years, you can't make concrete plans because you don't know you don't know what's going to happen next week. It may be all turned on its head again, and you know,
Yeah, exactly.
your
Yeah.
plans have gone completely out the window.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. I hope you do well, and I hope that you
Thank you.
get
Thank
more
you.
exposure, and that your music gets out there and that sort of thing. It's a very interesting mix of stuff, and I really like it. It's really good. It's
Thank you.
there's some of it that I can definitely see is commercial enough to be on radio stations and get, you know, and that sort of thing. But it's also, there's enough different about it to make it
Yeah.
interesting to people who aren't so commercially minded as far as their
Yeah.
music goes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting mix, and it works really well.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate that. Thank you.
No, it's good. I'm glad to have come across your music and to have talked to you, and hopefully we'll talk again at some point in the future when you're
Yeah.
huge mega stars, and when you're on your 15th world tour or something.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, same
Okay.
with me. Likewise, this was really great. It was really fun
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you
Thank
to everybody for tuning in and for listening and watching this podcast. Check out HAVA, as I say, on Bandcamp. I will put a link up for that, and look out for them in the future. I'll also put a link up to their Instagram profile. So I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Talking Music with Big Andy.
Oh.